Hello there. On the weekend just before this video, I spent a weekend in Germany, so I thought, hey, let's do this specific movie now. That's good timing. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Anyway, this is a movie I've been anticipating watching, and I don't know why I haven't watched it, to be honest. I should have watched it when it came out, because it sounded interesting from the start. I think it's actually a remake, because there's been other movies with the exact same name, with very similar synopsis. So this one, well, all of them actually, but this new one, 2022, it came out recently. I have heard great things. Pretty much everyone, whether it's an actual critic or just a person that I know online or in real life, anyone who's talked about this movie has said it's very good. So it is a World War One movie from the perspective of a German soldier who uncovers some horrors of war, but it's from a German perspective, which is interesting. And it's World War One, which is even more interesting because World War Two, it's obvious who the bad guys are. In World War Two, it's the Nazis and the Japanese, but in World War One, there's much more of a grey area, so it's more intriguing, if that makes sense, if you watch a movie based on German perspective, because World War One was more of a grey area. It wasn't clearly like good and evil. It was just, a war between two sides, more or less. Sounds very interesting to me. Let me stop talking. It's 2.5 hours long. It's 1:30 in the morning, so let me start. I'm 40 minutes in. This is terrifying. Like, I've seen plenty of World War movies, and well, they're all terrifying, really. This one, the way it's filmed, especially in the trenches, when they get attacked in the trenches, it's so well filmed. How brutal it is really like, it's portrayed well in this movie. And yeah, it's like the way it starts, like there's a group of friends and they're still in the homeland, and they are kind of excited about going to war. They had no idea what they were getting into. It's like the contrast between them looking forward to going to war and actually being in the war zone on the front line. It's mad. Also, Baron Zemo's in this. The guy who plays Zemo in the MCU, he's in this. I'm not surprised, really. Is he German? I don't know if he's German, but he can definitely play a German. He sounds like a German. IMDb is quite interesting. He was born in Barcelona, Spain. His father was German TV director Hanno Bruhl, 1937 to 2010, rest in peace, who was born in Sao Paulo, Brazil. A German director born in Brazil and had a son in Spain. Right. His Spanish mother was a teacher. He also has a brother and a sister. Shortly after his birth, his family moved to Cologne, Germany. Okay, so he grew up in Germany. Sort of German, and he had a German dad who was born in Brazil. So, part German dad. Where he grew up and attended the Draco Gymnasiums. I can't pronounce the full name, it's quite long. Brought up in a fully multilingual home. He speaks fluent German, English, Portuguese, Spanish, French, and Catalan. That's Zemo from Captain America Civil War. Seriously, what is this word? What? What? So in terms of the battle scenes, it focuses quite a lot. I mean, it focuses entirely in battles in between Germans and French. I've worded that so badly, but battles between the Germans and the French. Zemo's playing like a delegate guy. He does a scene where he's trying to negotiate with the French for a ceasefire, which is interesting. There's a lot of dialogue scenes and also a lot of war battle scenes as well, which is quite interesting. Also, the way it's filmed as well, the camera work is really good. There's a couple scenes that make it look like Call of Duty. There's one scene where someone's, beating someone up, and there's blood splatter on the screen. I'm just like, that looks exactly like Call of Duty. Oh, this tank scene is insane. They're battling in a trench, and they turn around and, like, a massive tank in the distance just pops out of nowhere. And then there's a second and a third one. It's actually mental. When those tanks reach the trenches as well, they drive over the trenches. So well filmed. What I've noticed quite a lot is there's a lot of German words and phrases that sound similar to English. There's a few things here and there. I don't know, I just find that interesting. This is not the movie that I found this out. I've noticed before, but there are just, it's not like the whole language, but there are some dialects that sound similar to English. And I wonder if there's like a similar origin between the languages sometimes. So there was a scene in here that's actually like really important. It's something even I know about. I mean, really a lot of us will know about it anyway. But Armistice, the signature, the Germans, Baron Zemo plays one of them in a negotiation room. The Germans sign a treaty given by the French for armistice at 11 a.m. on the 11th day of the 11th month. Obviously, we all know about that because we have minute silences every year. Well, maybe not everyone in the world, but like UK and other, especially Commonwealth countries will know about that. But yeah, that's like, I was just like, oh yeah, this is armistice. Like I didn't realize it when the scene was happening, but as soon as the French negotiator said 11th hour, 11th day, I'm just like, oh, this is armistice. A very important historic scene right there. A bit more detail. It's a national holiday in France. The Commonwealth nations call it Remembrance Day, and the US call it Veterans Day. I didn't know the last bit. I didn't know that. I know they have a Veterans Day. I just didn't know that was their armistice. That was the 11th. Maybe I should have known that. But then again, I'm not American, so I can be excused. Hopefully, we're coming towards the end now. There's half an hour left. Less than half an hour. I think it's going towards a depressing ending for sure. Because even the armistice is signed, it's signed for a specific date and time. It wasn't at the time of the signing. That there's still like quite a few hours before that time strikes. So the superiors are planning to attack the French again before that deadline. And some of the soldiers don't even want to go back. Like they think the war's over, peace has been signed, war's over, we're going home. Some soldiers are reacting to this news like, we don't want to do this, and they get beaten up for it. But yeah, I assume like obviously they're going to go to war now before this peace deadline. And I'm fairly certain a lot of them are going to die. I'm pretty sure, like, I can't remember how many, but I'm pretty sure just before the clock struck 11, a lot of people did die on both sides. So, yeah, I can imagine a very depressing ending coming up. This movie is a very unique war movie, because it's not fully focused on battles. Yeah, the battles are there, but there's a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of scenes between friends, scenes between superiors and soldiers, scenes between negotiations. There's a lot of scenes that are not involved with the battlefield, which is quite interesting. It's a fairly slow movie, and it definitely won't be everyone's cup of tea, for sure. I think some people will not like it for how slow it is. But I think it's very interesting. It's well written. It's well filmed. For me, the best part is the camera work and the visuals. It looks incredible. But yeah, the acting is good. It's in German, and I'm watching in subtitles. And when the action does happen, and there's enough of it, it's the way it's filmed, the way the camera angles, the cinematography, it makes it look genuinely scary and terrifying, like you're there in the war zone. And props to them for making it look that good. But it is very slow, and I still like it. I still, it's a very interesting movie to me. I've not been bored once, but I feel like there's a lot of people who won't like it that much. I feel like there's plenty of people I haven't spoken to or heard from that probably didn't like this one. But yeah, it's slow for a war movie, but for me, story-wise, it makes a lot of sense. And it is a remake. I googled it. It is definitely a remake. But even then, like, if this is a remake, it's definitely worth doing, because obviously there's more you can do now with technology. But yeah, I basically reviewed it before it even ends. Yep, as I expected, sad ending. One of the saddest scenes happened right before 11 a.m. Literally like seconds before 11 a.m. So there was peace just after this really sad moment. That's actually crazy, because obviously it was signed for peace, but because there was still hours between that and the actual time it would go into effect, they decided to keep fighting. Yeah. Unbelievable. So there's some text at the end, and one of the things is 3 million people died at that specific Western Front, just in that part of the war. 3 million died over 4 years, and the front line, it barely went forward. Like for 4 years they were pretty much there in the same bloody trench. That's crazy. And the movie's over. Well, that was depressing. But yeah, I thought it was good. From a guy's perspective, like, he's at first looking forward to going to war, but then he sees pretty much every bad thing that there is in a war zone, and yeah, from his perspective it is absolutely terrifying. So there you go, a war movie from the perspective of the Germans. Very interesting indeed. I'll give this an 8 out of 10. This is your boy Davidoff. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a good day and see ya.
Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're